I'm Corey, and I have too many tapes. You know, sometimes I pick a tape because it speaks to me, and other times I pick a tape because it speaks to a moment, a cause, the zeitgeist. And what's the zeitgeist right now? Why is your right-wing uncle frothing at the mouth about Hasbro toys and obsessing over vegetable genitals? It's Mr. Potato Head, and what started as a boring rebranding press release that snowballed into an avalanche of right-wing outrage nonsense has become yet another battle in a confusingly annoying culture war that seems tailor-made to sap whatever will to live I have left after spending a calendar year stuck inside my own house. So tired. So tired. So let's return to a simpler time, when Mr. Potato Head was a media sensation who had a TV show that nobody watched and ended after 13 episodes. I give you 1997's The Mr. Potato Head Show, written by the creator of the Earthworm Jim TV series. No, not the comic guy, speaking of frothing right-wing uncles. The Mr. Potato Head Show was short-lived, running only one season, but that one season was overloaded with weird characters, bizarre songs, impressively upsetting puppets, and a genuinely cool mixed media style that feels a little bit ahead of its time, but also kind of quaint and slapdash at the same time. The humor is all over the place. It's an exceedingly inside baseball show written by cynical Hollywood dudes who are just exhausted by the world at large. Show business, pop culture, politics. Mr. Potato Head gets into a lot of topics that seem, if not inappropriate, at the very least strange for kids' TV. It's a genuinely odd show, and the release of this VHS tape is also bizarre in its own way. You see, it's touted as a movie. The content on this tape runs about 75 minutes in total, but it's a confusing mishmash of the series finale of the show, a collection of skits and songs, and some behind-the-scenes footage. Because we're starting with the two-part finale, the show is going to be difficult to navigate. And unfortunately for all of us, that first part of the finale is mostly a clip show. Joy. So at the beginning of this episode, Potato Head is called a press conference because he always wanted to call a press conference. It's a sarcastically silly little send-up of celebrity culture that immediately transitions into a bad kung fu movie parody where he's fighting a potato bug that then turns into a shadowy boardroom meeting with a couple of yes men and their evil corporate overlord who explains his evil scheme.
Please inform Mr. Potato Head that his show is
canceled!
Son of a... No! I just wanted to escape from the hellscape that is this current media sphere, but instead Oh, the show. The show is canceled. Okay, yeah, 1998. That makes more sense. Anyway, the powers that be cancel the Mr. Potato Head show, and he drives back to his studios/home to inform his coworkers or co-stars, cohabitants of the bad news.
Canceled.
Look, show, you're not making it easy for me, okay? I just want to talk about the horrifying potato puppet without drawing too much attention to an already overheated dumpster fire.
Oh, look, a sushi bar.
Oh, I want a salmon skin roll.
Oh, as do I.
Oh, wow. I'm so upset I can't even hallucinate properly.
Anyway, the hallucination turns into a flashback where Betty, the kitchen fairy, tells him that the only thing he loves is making the TV show with his friends. This then abruptly cuts into a jarring montage of contextless clips from the previous 11 episodes so we can meet the characters as well as the required runtime for an episode of terrestrial broadcast television. I just want to think about this tape in context a little bit. This show wasn't wildly popular, so there's a good chance that some parent bought this for their kid on brand recognition alone. I know the standards for entertainment aren't high when you're cruising the bargain video aisle and just want something to make the kid shut up for an hour, but the construction of this tape has the vibe of that picture book from Elf, you know, the one that James Caan lets go to print without the final 2 pages. It's just weird and incomplete and confusing. So far, character-wise, we have Queenie Sweet Potato, Baloney, who is Sentient Baloney, who sounds like Scooter from The Muppet Show, and Potato Bug, who is gratingly adorable. Back in their kitchen/studio, they freak out over how much they can't believe they've been canceled, and Potato Head breaks the bad news to the rest of the crew. A rotten apple core, a tube of toothpaste, a dog made out of tin cans, a mad scientist fruit cake, and a Frankenstein's monster that's a ham with lobster claw hands. These puppets don't fall on the awful puppet spectrum. On the contrary, they're genuinely well-made, expressive, and interesting to look at. There's a lot of love and craftsmanship in the design of this show. The puppets were created by the Kyoto brothers, who also did puppets and effects for Critters, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Team America, and the amazing live Sea Monkeys. Fun fact, the prosthetics for that show got reused in the corny series of kids' safety tapes I reviewed in this video right here. Synergy. Terrible, terrible synergy. I say the puppets are good, but they're also in that, well, Killer Clowns from Outer Space kind of tone. They're a little bit weird and horrifying, especially Mr. Giblets, who is an anthropomorphic pile of giblets. Kind of speaks for itself there. It's as awful to look at as it sounds. He decides to take the cancellation news by running for political office, which, if you're going by modern standards, places him in the top 10% of qualified people running for office these days. The group of characters we've just met completely disband and go their separate ways, but not before another montage flashback of the previous episodes of the show we've never seen. It's zany, madcap, and honestly kind of awesome to look at, even if it makes absolutely no sense. What's less awesome to look at is the full-body version of the Mr. Potato Head puppet. I know he's a potato, but since he has actual leg-type legs, the fact that he doesn't wear pants is off-putting, to say the least. He's a nude potato. Don't like it. 0 out of 10. The fruitcake scientist and Frankenham start using some sort of low-rent dimension-hopping device which fractures the already fractured narrative even more. I usually don't comment on the structure of these shows, but as much as I love the aesthetic and the performances here, it's just all over the place. We bid a tearful farewell to the home we know nothing about as VHS viewers, and hit the open road with Baloney and Mr. Potato Head. This serves as an excuse for another flashback clip show montage, and y'all, these things are so sloppy. The editing is atrociously jarring here. There aren't a lot of set-up punchline gags in the clips either. It's cutaways to random pieces of business or big action moments without context. It's like it's designed to disengage, a tug-of-war between your attention span and the siren song of your phone. I'm not even sure this would be compelling to someone who had seen the show the whole way through. We get a scene with Potato Bug and Queenie Sweet Potato about to board the cruise ship for their new life in D-tier entertainment. And it's filled with that exact kind of 90s humor that's less joke-telling and more talking about the joke and around the joke and lampshading the flimsiness of the premise.
Hey, what ship are we on? The Golden Mermaid? The Ocean Goddess?
The Sinking Duchess.
There's something vaguely unsettling about that name, but can't seem to put my finger on it.
There's some loosey-goosey dimension-hopping business, more road trip flashback shenanigans, and a scene where Giblets is running for office. His campaign has progressed alarmingly quickly in a dead zone kind of way, and this is one of the few scenes where the writing really comes alive. You can feel the bile pouring out of the pen, and it's refreshing, I guess? Weird to be refreshed by cynicism, but it's sharp at least.
I promise to slash Texas, raise the standard of living, lower crime rates, give everyone the magical power to fly. Boy, you people will believe anything, won't you?
Yes, we will!
I love democracy.
The cruise ship sinks, Potato Head has another worthless flashback. The Dimension Hoppers hop around to a timeline with an enormous dinosaur Potato Head, which honestly kinda slaps, and Baloney hits a button on the car that sends them zooming into orbit. This is where the aliens show up. Hold up, yeah. The show has a whole alien side plot. Apparently it was one of the bigger storylines in the show, as we see in the flashback, where they, take the ghost of a dead houseplant back to their home world to worship it as the emperor of the universe. This is not an exaggeration. In the words of Dave Barry, I am not making this up. This is verbatim.
I am sorry that I am not the most intelligent being in existence anymore.
Hey, don't worry about it. We found someone more intelligent anyway.
Oh.
Come, Ghost Plant. We will take you to our world, where we will crown you Emperor of the Universe.
What he said.
Bada bing.
Bada boom.
This big reveal is the dramatic conclusion of a season's worth of alien intrigue. These aliens. These aliens that sound like Beakman from Beakman's World. The show is gorgeous and stupid, and it baffles me. The Brooklyn aliens dunk on Potato Head, praise the guy who's taken his time slot, and then peace out for parts unknown. Bye, aliens. Bada bing, I guess. Baloney initiates the self-destruct of the car inadvertently, Mr. Potato Head accepts his demise, and a narrator wraps up the storylines of this part of the movie, and what in the actual disembodied floating lips is that? Look, I'm down with weird stuff. That's what this channel is for. The weird, and the bad, and the wonderful in the world of forgotten media. But the utter disregard for anything resembling a linear narrative here is intoxicatingly frustrating. I'm obsessed with how confused and upset this show makes me. And they go and make it worse. Or better? I don't know. They do something by shoving all of the songs they wrote for the show in between the two finale episodes to pad out the length of the tape. It's like you're in purgatory and being made to watch a local access version of TRL programmed by demons.
Dance the fluffy pookie poo. Dance it when you feel askew. Even if you've got the flu. Dance the fluffy pookie poo.
there's more. There are 7 songs here. The segment lasts 9 minutes. Nothing there has any connection to anything else that happens in the rest of this two-parter. This is an elaborate prank. This show never existed. I'm being gaslit by the Hasbro company.
Dance break! Boogie, 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 boogie.
Before we go, computer, generate nude potato.
1,000 bedpans of solid gold.
Yes, it's true. This man has no.
Our story recommences with Mr. Potato Head at his lowest point, accepting death and embracing the void. Baloney tricks the countdown computer employing the same method I use to annoy my wife while she's counting, shouting random numbers to throw her off. The Potato Bug and Sweet Potato make it to land after their cruise ship sinks, and they get in a good Muppet-style joke.
Oh, we're saved! Oh, please don't tell me that island's been behind me this whole time, and you just didn't mention it until now?
Okay, I will not tell you.
The scientist and the ham beast escape their predicament, the car returns to Earth, and the status quo that we so gracefully upset is finally quoing back to the status. All of this was for nothing. None of this matters. God is dead, and Mr. Potato Head killed him. Potato Head calls up the gang, reconvenes them, and they decide to put on a stage show version of the Mr. Potato Head show in lieu of them being on TV. And I'm starting to get a 2011 The Muppets vibe, just without any of the heart, or the nostalgia, or the catchy songs, or the lovable characters. Puppets, though, those are there. The evil alien scheme is finally revealed. They're going to invade Earth! Original. Also, they're taking orders from the ghost of the houseplant, so I guess this show does have continuity. This scene is actually kind of good, and I'm for it. Points to the aliens. They have their act together at the very least.
All hail Emperor Ghost Plant! Hey, you think it's weird that we're taking orders from a dead plant?
The words you speak are treason.
Oh, sorry. Don't tell anyone, okay?
Buy me a burger?
Deal. Well, let's go conquer the Earth!
Sure. Bada bing.
Bada boom!
All hail Emperor Ghost Plant! Back with the scintillating let's put on a show action, Potato Head decides that the show must commence today, without any rehearsal or set building or preparation of any kind. I don't know if this is hubris on the writer's part or just intensely self-aware lampshading, but either way, it's a bad look. They start the show and there's only one guy. They're not popular or relevant. They never were. Man, did Jason Segel catch this on TV while filming Freaks and Geeks or something? Because the 2011 Muppet vibes just keep on coming. They do some sub-Borscht Belt sketches, offend their only audience member, and then the aliens invade. Before we can resolve that, though, the announcer lady lets us know that we'll be seeing some totally irrelevant moments. Some more totally irrelevant moments, mind you. There's been nothing relevant in these 50 minutes that I've had to sit through already. It's just 3 random clips. No coherence, no real theme, a press conference, a little editorial about scapegoats, and another song from the Rotten Apple. Were they trying to hit a runtime target here? Were they trying to make sure that something of this show would survive to be seen? I'm not sure if this tape is an act of desperation or of hubris. I don't know if I should scorn the writer who cast himself on this show as the guy who writes the show, or cut him some slack. Maybe they knew they weren't coming back after this, because the show ends with an enormous silly space battle, the return of Betty the Kitchen Fairy, and Blostragath the Destroyer, a horrifying Lovecraftian nightmare with corncobs for horns that drives away the alien menace.
Free! I'm free! And I'm unusually large. Horse divorce.
So you want to flee in terror?
Sure.
It's a ludicrous Deus Ex Machina that I love, because at this point we've departed logical reasoning and entered fever dream territory. Mr. Potato Head reveals the studio head is an evil alien bent on world domination. Okay, we might be entering problematic territory here. And he disappears. Mr. Potato Head gets his show back, everybody's happy. And there's still 10 minutes left of this tape. Why, you ask? Well, it's filled with more bonus footage! This thing was designed for someone who is really into the Mr. Potato Head show and no one else. Which is a shame, really, because the last part of this is a really loving making-of featurette that shows just how much care, craftsmanship, and joy was put into this thing, and makes me sad. Shows like these happen all the time. They pop up, everybody puts their all into it, nobody responds to it, and then they disband. It's the churn of Hollywood. But if you're starting to feel bad for Mr. Potato Head right now, I beg you don't. And if you find yourself getting worked up by a scalding hot take of somebody with bad intentions on Twitter, find the source of the thing they're talking about, read the press release or the original reporting. Don't let your opinions be shaped by knee-jerk reactions and boiled-over regurgitations of someone who saw a tweet of a quote of an article by some guy. Mr. Potato Head has been canceled before. He'll be canceled again. Somehow this totally tubular dude will bounce back. Thank you all for watching Too Many Tapes. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon to get updates from when I upload new videos. Did you actually watch this entire show as a kid? Did it make sense? Let me know in the comments, please. Please tell me what the story was supposed to be. If you want to help out a small YouTube creator, consider donating $1 or more to my Patreon. It is the absolute best way to help me make more episodes of this show. The link is in the description. If you donate $20 or more a month, you're Emperor Ghost Plant, and you have your name in the credits in an enormous font like Chase Smith. Or you can be like NATO Kitsch, who also has their name in an enormous font. For $10 or more a month, you're Blostragath the Destroyer, and you get your name in the credits in a font that is honestly pretty big too. And for $5 a month, you're Totally Tubular, and you get early access to my videos. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Too Many Tapes. Geese and dogs at the same time. Gogs. Deeks. Deeks.